Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey here on the Daybreak Show. I got a great guest in studio as we welcome in Thurston County Sheriff John Snaza. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff, and thank you for having me.
Well, it was really nice to, we were talking and thinking about ways to bring in folks from the Thurston County area and kind of talk about them and with them about ways that Mason and Thurston are comparable. And for the listeners in Mason County, tell us, give me a quick overview of the Sheriff's Office in Thurston County, the number of people you have working for you there, and the different types of departments, and maybe some key differences that you see between Thurston and Mason.
Well, first off, I've been authorized just about 250 positions as of like a month ago. I got we did a staffing study in jail. I got approved for 7 more deputies. Also, I got approved for a school resource officer, and that added one. So with being able to work with contract cities to keep deputies, and also working with North Thurston School to actually pay for a deputy. The city of Rainier pays for 2 deputy positions, and they pay for the cars, and I work with the city of Bucota. So I get my training budget out of the city of Bucota.
Interesting.
Which is kind of nice. Now, Thurston County is about 777 square miles. About 34 to 39 of those miles is waterways.
Mm-hmm.
And so the rest of it are roadways. And we have approximately 1,100 miles of roadway in Thurston County. And Thurston County is ranked the 6th largest county in the state of Washington out of 39, and that's based on population. And where we're looking at population now, we're right at about 285, close to 290, and they figure that by the end of 2020, we'll have over 300,000 citizens.
Wow. One of the unique challenges to Mason County and with the Sheriff's Office is their interactions with Shelton Police, and that is the only incorporated city in the whole county, whereas in Thurston, you mentioned a few of them. How is the working relationship with those other incorporated cities?
So we have Tenino, Yelm, and Rainier contracts with us.
Uh-huh.
So you have Tenino and Yelm, and then you have Tumwater, Lacey, and Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we do is that I have a sheriff's breakfast. Also, I apologize for neglecting to talk about that. I have the Chehalis tribe, and I have the Nisqually tribe.
Okay.
And so the Chehalis tribe doesn't make it out to our the sheriff's breakfast that we have, that we get a hold in Yelm with Chief Stansel, sorry. But so I get Tenino to show up to that, and obviously Chief Stansel. And then sometimes Lacey, Olympia will show up to that. I've had Tumwater show up. And also we work with Department of Corrections quite a bit.
Sure. And
also Joint Base Lewis McCord. So I both have Air Force representatives show up there, and some Army military police representatives, and CID.
So just the wide range.
Right. Well, Thurston County has about 40% of JBLM's population. And so we get to do that. And now, on top of that, the chiefs, we do meet monthly. We have monthly meetings that we have. And then we have a Chiefs breakfast. And at the Chiefs breakfast, we also invite the prosecutor.
And talk about the issues.
We talk about a lot of the issues that we're all seeing as a law enforcement agency. And then, but we, at our level, our relationship is, I feel it's really good. I mean, I can call any of them up. We can go meet if we have an issue. We all have each other's phone numbers, so anything pops up, we can help each other out. I think the biggest thing that we're seeing is, or that I'm seeing, is bigwig probably issues, cities versus county.
Oh, sure.
So those are probably a lot of conversations that I might hear rumor of, but for the most part, I don't really.
You guys are focused forward.
I'm the guy that is focused on Thurston County being a safe place to work, live, and play, and where our children feel safe in school.
I want to talk a little bit about the partnership, the Thurston Mason, the BHO, Behavioral Health Organization. You guys have some beds available in the Thurston County kind of Tumwater, Mottman area. We are getting a facility here right across the way from the radio station. How has that been working out for you guys in Thurston?
Well, I can tell you that the director, Mark Friedman, has been super wonderful to work with, and he voices concerns. He also gives us praise when we're doing well. But we used to do CDMHPs, chemical dependent mental health counselors, or professionals, sorry. And now we turn it to DCRs, which is designated crisis responders. And what they do is that they're not housed at the triage center, but they're available to come out on calls to assist us. The biggest thing that we're seeing right now in Thurston County is having them come out and our deputies having to wait long periods of time for them to get to our location. So hopefully being able to meet them halfway or get them into triage. The best part that's been working now, because it was underneath Telcare, and now it's under the Thurston Mason BHO with Mark, and what he's making it possible for us is to find beds.
Yeah.
And he's had his staff, that's their job, is to find beds, needed beds, because it's a 10-bed triage. And it was full the first week.
Sure.
And I have a jail that holds 408, and then I have a work release program, what we call options program, that holds about 93, has 93 beds. Now, when I say that we have that facility, I only have 120 beds that are double-celled units. So basically, each I have four dorms, and they each have about 16 cells each. And what we're finding is that a lot of the individuals with violent crime or who have mental health issues do not make very good roommates, so we have to put them in single cell. So now I only have 16, and I have 4 pods, and one of them is, or dorm, is designated for female. So I don't really have a facility for all that.
Sure.
And so what I would say is that of my average daily population, you're looking at least 30+% have some sort of mental health issue.
Wow.
And they are using, because of their mental health, they use other substances to make them feel better.
Yeah.
Whether it be drugs or alcohol. So
the triage center, just 10 beds, but still you think that has been a benefit to you when you look at the overall prison or the jail population? Just
I do, and the reason why I say it is that since being the sheriff starting in 2011, I believe that I got a huge learning on education on corrections. Because before, just being in law enforcement, you drop them off at jail and you don't think anything of it. So now, when I'm going to the jail or dealing with corrections issues, how much I appreciate the men and women who work in corrections and what they deal with on a daily basis, and they don't get to escape it.
Sure.
I can drop someone off and I'm done. I can go out and drive my car around and get some fresh air and go to the next call. Corrections are in that building 12 plus hours a day.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're dealing with crisis every day. And so where I'm looking at is that, has Mark helped us out on certain? Yes. Is he trying to help us out more? Yes. Obviously, the issues that we're seeing both in all counties in the state is funding for mental health. And why aren't we being funded for mental health? Especially when we have professionals who are saying it's a crisis.
You work closely with the legislature, and being in Olympia in Thurston County, I mean, you're right there. You're able to interact with the lawmakers when they come in. Is this something that you have heard as the president of the Sheriff's Association or with the other police chiefs organizations, that this is something we've got to focus the legislature on this year, a mental health funding aspect to this?
Yes. I've been a legislative representative for both WASPIC, which is the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, and the representative for Washington State Sheriff's Association. So two different associations, sometimes with different requests for legislative ideas or agenda. But I can tell you, through WASPIC and the Sheriff's Association, mental health is a huge issue in all 39 counties. And we are hoping that the legislation, and you always hope that the governor really understands how much of a crisis it is, and what do investments look like? Excuse me. So when I say investments, not necessarily a money investment, but an investment in our community and in our state, and in the men and women who are suffering from mental health crisis, and knowing that they're doing illegal things because of their mental illness. And instead of releasing them or keeping them in my jail, how are we benefiting the citizens of our own community? And unfortunately, it's kind of interesting how you asked the question of how we're dealing with legislation, because for whatever reason, it's become a law enforcement problem. Is it a law enforcement problem because they go in our jails and they cost our taxpayers monies because they're in our beds and they're taking up room that we can't help them, a mental health facility could? Or is it because we deal with these people every day? We go out to calls and we're dealing. We're the first responders, so we see it. But the unfortunate part is, in a political world, a world where, dependent on whether you're a D and R or whatever you are, is going to be the determining factor as to what type of legislation you're going to get.
Sure.
And that's why I choose not to be either. I'm an independent. I don't get to choose what laws I do enforce or don't enforce, because it's expected that we enforce the law.
Yeah.
So going up, you always hope that whatever John Snaza thinks is common sense may seem silly to Jeff, but I do hope that we really get some good feedback on the mental health crisis, meaning feedback as far as funding for our mental health system.
Do you get a sense that the legislators understand you or are willing to default to your expertise in these situations, or do you get a sense that some folks may still be playing politics when it comes to all this?
So I am not being a legislator, but meeting lots of them.
Right.
They have lobbyists hitting them up year round.
Yeah.
They have citizens or constituents that ask them of certain things. So whether it's in their arena or not, or in their sites. That's the hard part, because what we're seeing throughout the United States, I mean, we just had a synagogue get hit. Before that, we have a guy that's delivering bombs or suspected bombs. What I mean by that is that if we look at it, we're saying, if we're just hearing about it, we're going like, there's some mental health stuff going on.
Sure.
So it's not anything else other than a mental health issue. So why aren't we dealing with it? And I suppose, I don't know. I was always hoping that the governor is really going to take a hard look at this and say, we need to invest our money in mental health, because we all know that Western State is down the tubes. And so does the governor say, well, it's the county responsibility? And then that's when the legislative thing comes in, because we're not funded for mental health issues. Counties only get so much monies, and that's off of property tax.
Right.
And whatever little business tax there is. It's not like the cities. So we're funded way differently. And so unless county commissioners get with the legislators and say, we got to change our funding source, or we really need to tackle this. So I don't really know where the Mason County Commission even stands on mental health issues. I know where the sheriff stands, and he's committed to wanting to hopefully help every individual that has mental health crisis.
It is a big issue, and it will be at the forefront for a long time, but hopefully we get some answers. It's been really nice talking with you.
Thank you.
Thurston County Sheriff John Snaza here this morning on the Daybreak Show, and
Hey, Jeff, I just want to say, I'm sorry I didn't get to say anything really cool, because I really didn't want to depress anybody about this, but I want to say thanks for letting me do this. That's really cool.
It was nice to meet you and nice talking with you.
Thank you.